Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99, but using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championships and Super Bowl.
What's going on out there? It's Asian Baseball Today time. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and I'm joined by the crew. You hear the laughs starting already. Let's bring them in here. We got Adam Trigger, we got Tokyo Brandon, and both these guys running hot. Both these guys have some 5%ers loaded, some 4%ers going in the morning. So, Trig, I'm going to start with you. 4-0 run heading into our show here on Thursday. How you doing, man? And remind people what you got up.
Yeah, good start. Well, good run over the last couple of days. Lotte gave us a nice scare in KBO this morning. Blew a 6-2 lead. We were just chatting about it before we came on air. But they walked it off in the 11th inning, and that gives me 4 winners in a row. I have a 5% MLB play. It's my first one in a while. I haven't fired a 5% MLB in a couple of weeks. But I've got one going tonight that I like a lot, enough to make it a 5%. And then I've got another 4% KBO up in the morning. And we'll talk about the other games on air. But yeah, it's going well right now. Hopefully it continues.
We got a full slate of topics to get into here, and Tokyo Brandon behind the scenes, quite literally wiping the sleep out of his eyes, getting ready to go here for our Asian Baseball Today. Brandon, a 5%er loaded for you. You've been running hot too, so you get to strut your stuff here a little bit at the top. And how are you doing, man?
Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now. Yeah, there she is. I was waiting for her. Now I can wake up. So yeah, I've been running really well. Night before last, I went 5-1 in Asian baseball, and then yesterday I went 7-1 in Asian baseball. So I'm on a 12. What's 7 plus 5? Is that 12? I'm on a 12-2 run right now, and I have a 5% play out in Japanese baseball. I love this play. It's a straight up money line, and odds are pretty good. And I put that 5% play out about 4 or 5 hours ago. So go grab that on my WagerTalk page. I also have 2 other plays in Japanese baseball out, and I have 2 KBO plays out tonight. Not quite 5%ers, but they are plays that I like enough to put them out. Winning 62% in the KBO and winning 59% in Japanese baseball. So, yeah, it's going pretty good.
I love it, guys. Well, let's get right into it here on our Thursday show. We always break down the weekend slate for you, give you some money-making opportunities heading on into the weekend to last you all weekend long. Let's make sure we all start on the same page with our standings update. Guys, that monumental lead that SSG had on the field is shrinking by the day. SSG now just a 2.5 game lead on Kiwoom. LG right on the heels as well. Kia, those are kind of your top 4 teams jockeying per position. And you got Samsung, Doosan, KT, Lotte. And then at the bottom, our guys, Hanwha Eagles and the NC Dinos. But stay tuned because some potential money-making opportunities on one of those teams that we'll be breaking down coming up here. But Brandon, I want to start with you because you both have 2 teams, or excuse me, 1 team each, that you think there might be some of those opportunities here in the near future. So we'll start with you, and you wanted to break down the Kia Tigers and just how you're kind of attacking them moving forward.
Yes, the Kia Tigers. Interesting team. You'll notice, looking at their last few games, that they're hitting better than any other team out there. Here's a little nugget of information that I'm going to share with you. This is how you bet the Kia Tigers. They have a terrible bullpen. Their bullpen is absolutely awful, but their hitting is great, and their starting rotation is above average. And if you look at their last 10 games, and I went in and did some stats for y'all, in the first 5 innings, Kia is the best team in the league. And they're in the last 10 games, Kia is 7-3 in the first 5 innings. And if you take away the KT Wiz, take away all their games that they played against the KT Wiz, they're 7-0 in the first 5 innings. So Kia is definitely a first 5 inning team. Bet them first 5 to win, and you will win a lot of money. So that's how I'm going forward, and that's a little nugget of information. Hey, I don't know how long it's going to last, but right now they're on an amazing first 5 run, an amazing first 5 streak. So I'm going to ride them in the first 5 until they prove me wrong.
Keep riding the Kia first 5 until the wheels fall off, according to our guy, Tokyo Brandon. Adam, you also have a team that you kind of wanted to look at on some potential isolated spots that you could play on, and that's the KT Wiz. So 7th place team doesn't mean that there's not value on them from a betting perspective. How are you attacking KT?
Yeah, first I just want to comment on Kia because I pretty much agree with everything Brandon just said. And I'll just add one more thing with Kia. I have them power rated higher than it seems like the market does as well. And I just make sure that if I'm going to back them, they didn't use up their couple good bullpen guys the day before. Because he's right. That's where you're going to get beat with that Kia team is in the bullpen. So if you want to back them full game, dig a little bit and make sure that they didn't just burn through like their closer and their number 1 or 2 relievers. And then I think they're a good bet full game, too, because that offense is legit. I have Kia's offense ranked way up near the top. KT Wiz is the team I wanted to talk about, Dan. I look at some of the way that these teams are priced, and KT's still getting, well, they're still getting priced like a bottom team because they've been a bottom team. But there's going to be a stretch in the next couple of weeks where I think they're going to start to look more and more like the team that won this league last year. Wes Benjamin just made his KBO debut yesterday. He pitched 3 innings. It was okay. I think he scattered 2 hits, didn't give up any runs, walked a couple guys, struck out a couple. It wasn't amazing by any means, but the point is they've got now a second import pitcher back in the mix. They can send back to the bullpen where he belongs, and it starts to sort of let things fall into place for this team that last year, when everything was in place, was the best team in this league. They won the regular season and they won the Korean series. Baekho Kang has been back for a week or 2 now, maybe like a week and a half. And as you would expect, right? There was definitely rust. He hadn't been hitting at all, but he had a 2-hit night yesterday. And he's someone that if he catches fire a little bit, he's going to he'll hit over 400 for a stretch. I mean, he's as streaky as they come. And when he's hot, he's arguably the best Korean-born hitter in this league, or at least he's like a big top 3. You won't find many better Korean-born hitters in this league than Baekho Kang. So they get him back. Coming down the pike a little bit here is going to be Anthony Alford, who they just signed. Henry Ramos injured earlier this year. They parted ways with him. They bring in Anthony Alford, former Pittsburgh Pirate. I think he was in the Guardians organization earlier this year before he asked for his release to come over to Korea and play. And I expect KT, I don't think they're going to mess around. I think they're going to get him over there, and as soon as they can get him in the lineup, they're going to get him into the lineup. So, but it just goes back to this week and yesterday. I'm kicking myself for I just wasn't sure what they were going to do with Benjamin yesterday, but they were plus money. They get the easy win. You could probably just bet you could probably just bet KT blindly from now for the next couple weeks, and you'll probably net a profit because I think this is where we start to see them play more like the team that we saw last year and less like the KT team that we've seen so far this year.
So maybe a different KT team we'll be seeing down the stretch, according to Adam Trigger. Guys, let's get into our featured matchup for today, because I think this is a good one, because you just look at Kiwoom. Now they're starting to put a little pressure on SSG, who's sitting in the first place. They kick off a series against Kia, who we were just talking about there, and potential early game opportunities on them. Kia the favorite in this one on the money line, minus 140, and the total in this one, 9. Adam, I'm going to throw it right back your way for our featured matchup today. Sounds like a good one going tomorrow morning. How are you breaking it down?
Yeah, I like Kia here. Little bit out of my price range to make it a best bet. Because even though Kiwoom is a team I kind of want to fade going forward, I think they've really maxed out this run for all it's worth at this point, in my opinion. Kiwoom's got the best pitching in the league, top to bottom. If you look at just pitching top to bottom, starting pitching, bullpen, Kiwoom is number 1 across the board. And I believe they're like second in starting pitching ERA, second in bullpen ERA. Their starting pitcher here, Wante Choi, pretty much identical numbers to Yuli Lee, who starts for Kia, who I really do like. So I lean Kia because I like Lee. I think they have the better offense, but when the bullpens start to come into play, that's like the equalizer here. And I just don't know if I want to be laying minus 145, minus 150 when I know I'm going to have to sort of survive with that Kia bullpen, who just got a win yesterday and had to, close out a 5-1 game against LG. But there's absolutely no question I have Kia, the better team. I don't think Kiwoom is going to finish this year in second place or first place. I think they'll sort of fall down the ladder. They do look like they could be a playoff team, but I think they'll maybe finish if they get to the playoffs, it's probably going to be in the 4 or the 5 spot. So for me here, it's a little bit steep in what is a pretty even matchup, but I lean toward Kia. Just think they're the better team, and I think Lee is ever so slightly the better starting pitcher.
So a lean and a heavy lean at that towards Kia. You talked earlier in the show, Brandon, about how you're attacking this team from a first 5 perspective. Is that how you're hitting it, or do you have another way that you're hitting it as well?
Yeah, if you think I'm going away from my earlier logic, you got another thing coming. Oh, yeah, you got another thing coming. So I agree with almost everything Adam said. Pretty much everything that Adam just said. I think we've said on previous shows that I believe Kiwoom is a team to regress. I don't think they're even going to make the playoffs this year. They do have good pitching. But if you look at the last 7 days, Kia's been ripping the skin off the ball. They're scoring 4.71 runs a game, while Kiwoom's only scoring 2.83. They have the starting pitcher advantage. I have Liu Li ranked quite far above Choi Wante. Choi Wante burned me last game. He had been that's Kiwoom's starter today, Choi Wante. He had been on an amazing run, and then last game he just hit the wall and got tagged, and I lost that bet because I was backing him. I think he's going to regress a little bit. Career-wise, I have Liu Li ranked 14 out of 80 qualified pitchers, and I have Choi Wante ranked 35. So, you get the better starting pitcher, and you get the better lineup. I'm throwing the bullpens completely out. I don't trust Kiwoom's bullpen, or I don't trust Kia's bullpen as far as I can throw them collectively, which is probably not more than 1 inch. So I'm taking Kia on the first 5. I don't mind the price at all. You've got a lineup that's just been ripping the skin off the ball, and you've got a starting pitcher in Choi Wante who struggled his last start out, and I think he'll struggle today against Kia as well. Kia
there you
first
go. That's
5.
the Kia first 5. That's our experts' thoughts here on the featured game. You can hop in the comments below. Let us know what you think about this matchup and this series moving forward. Should be a pretty good one. And with 140 already, if you like Kia, you might want to go and grab that now. Guys, let's get into our series previews. Brandon, I'm going to throw it right back your way because you want to head to the NPB, as you often like to do here in our series preview. You wanted to take a look at another interleague matchup. We got the Hanshin Tigers and the Orix Buffaloes. How are you attacking this one, Brandon?
Yeah, I like to throw in some Japanese plays here and there because not a lot of people are exposed to this league. And actually, I've been running hotter in the Japanese league lately than in Korean, even though my overall season, my Korean win percentage is higher. So we've got two teams here in Hanshin Tigers and Orix Buffaloes. I like to look at teams, how they've been performing the last week. And if you look at how these teams have been performing the last week, neither one of them are performing particularly well, especially in the last 2 or 3 days. We got two lineups that rank towards the bottom of the pack, ranked, let's see, what do I got here? Ranked 7th and 10th, respectively, out of 12 teams. And we've got two, fairly mediocre bullpens, but I love the starting lineups for both of these teams. And if you dig a little deeper into the numbers over the whole season, I do a running statistical tally of how often teams in their games, how often their games go over 6.5 and how often they go under 6.5. And these are two of the biggest under 6.5 teams. I have Hanshin at 63% under 6.5, and I have Orix at 67% under 6.5. So if you take those two teams and average them together, that means we've got a 66% chance that these games are going to be under 6.5. The game total for this game today is 6, but going forward, if you see 6.5s, take that. If you see first 5 3.5 game totals, take the unders in that as well. So I'm recommending betting the unders in these, and that starts tonight.
Series breakdown there, an under special when Hanshin and Orix is facing off this weekend. Let's swing it back to the KBO and swing it on over to our guy, Adam Trigger. You talked last show about some potential play-on spots for NC moving forward, and now they face off against Samsung. Is this one of those potential spots here, or how are you attacking this 3-game set on the weekend?
Yeah, so this is an interesting series because I like Samsung in the opener against the +1.5, and I'll explain why in a minute. But in general, NC is still a team that I think is gonna continue to climb. I think they're gonna ascend in the standings because they're getting healthy. With their pitching staff's getting healthy all at the same time. So Friday, let's just start with Friday's matchup. Chang-Mo Koo is back. He's been fantastic through his first 2 starts, but I look at the price in this game, and it seems very, very steep to back a guy that didn't pitch at all last year, had surgery, season was over, and, he's come back. He threw his first outing on a pitch count, and then he faced the Lotte lineup, who was basically missing like 5 starters. So, he's looked good, but he did it in a game against Doosan where he was on a pitch count, only went 5 innings, and then against a Lotte team that was pretty much without all of their best hitters. So Samsung, they're not. I don't love the makeup of this team overall, but if you're going to give me a 1.5 with them at home, against what still is the last place team in the league. I mean, they NC hasn't, just because they had a good series earlier this week, doesn't really negate how poor they've been all season. I'm going to have to look to take that with Samsung. Like Samsung, while they have holes in their lineup, you still have Jose Perella. He's hitting 389, right? He had another 3-hit game last night. The 1 through 4 or 5 in Samsung's lineup can hit. So that'll probably be the biggest test Chang-Mo has gotten since he's returned. And then, of course, if you get into the NC bullpen, NC came back last night, but their bullpen actually choked that game away first, and then they came back and won it. They gave away a 3-0 lead, I think, in the 8th inning, and then came back and won. So they kind of taxed their bullpen in that series with SSG. So Friday night's game, I actually do like I think it's a great spot for Samsung on their home field. Getting the +1.5, I'm just not overly confident with NC to win that game by margin. But if you look later in the series, I think it's going to favor the NC Dinos. And I'd love for Samsung to get it done on Friday because I think NC would be in a really good bounce back spot on Saturday, depending on who they call up to make the start. So they have a kid that's in the Futures League that they might call up to make a start on Saturday that I think could be a good matchup. And Yoongi Song is like I believe he's coming back soon. I don't know if he's going to come back this weekend. I almost don't want it to be him because I think he might need a little bit more time. But that could be, Saturday. It could be a nice price on NC. And then Sunday, you're getting Drew Rucinski against David Buchanan. And I would give Rucinski the nod there. So we'll see what the prices are. I like Samsung plus 1.5 in this opener. But if NC is going to have the better matchups later in this series. So do what you will with that.
There you go. A potential mini zigzag this weekend between the NC and Samsung side. Guys, our pace of play today is amazing. We're already queuing up our best bet segment here. Brandon, I'm going to let you go first. You got a 5% loaded right now in Japanese baseball, 12-2 run overall in Asian baseball, and you got a free play for the folks right this moment. Tokyo Brandon, you see him on the screen there. Check him out at WagerTalk.com. Free best bet for the folks, though. Brandon, what do you got?
So we have a little extra time, so it's more karaoke time. We are the Sultans of Swing. Do 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 do. There she goes. All right, cool. So, all right, all right. Back to business. So yeah, I'm gonna look at the Doosan LG game today because Casey Kelly is an interesting pitcher. I have Casey Kelly as one of the best pitchers. I have him ranked 10 out of 80 potential starting pitchers here, and he's going against a Doosan pitcher in Guakbin. Guakbin, I have him ranked 44 out of 80, so he's a little below the pack here. LG has got all the makings of a solid championship team. They have the number 2 hitting team, they have the number 1 bullpen, and they have a pretty decent starting rotation. So Adam earlier said he liked Kiwoom's pitching top to bottom as number 1. LG's giving them a run for their money top to bottom, though, because LG's got a great rotation. They've got a great bullpen. Kiwoom's bullpen is performing well as well. But Casey Kelly, he doesn't get blown up very often. But this season, the one game he did get blown up was against Doosan. Do you think Doosan can blow him up 2 times in a row? I don't think so. And my numbers are in love with LG here. And they got everything from top to bottom better. The one thing that worries me is in the last 7 days, I have LG averaging 6.1 runs a game, but I have Doosan averaging 7.3. I think that's a little bit bloated because Doosan had a 20 or 16 run game a couple days ago. But if you take that game out, LG is actually hitting better than Doosan. So I like everything about LG here. Unfortunately, the money line is minus 180, which might be tough to digest for some people. So my best bet here is take LG minus 1.5. I realize laying 1.5 with a home team is tough because if they're winning, they only get 8 innings of at-bats. But they just have so many advantages in this game. I don't mind laying 1.5 because minus 185 is a little steep. So I'm on LG minus 1.5 here.
LG laying the lumber. Best bet from Tokyo Brandon. Adam Trigger, 4-0 run that you're on. You got a 5%er loaded in Major League Baseball tonight. You got a 4%er in KBO going in the morning. And you got a best bet for the folks right now. What do you got for him, Trig?
Yeah, so best bet for the show is going to be Samsung plus 1.5. Second best thing I see on the board. Obviously, my top play for Friday is up on my page for $9. But yeah, Samsung plus 1.5. I think if we're just talking a numbers play, no play makes more sense tomorrow than Samsung getting the 1.5 at this price. If we're just leaving it to like value numbers and that's it, Samsung plus 1.5 would be the leader on that category, in my opinion, for Friday's board. It's just plain and simple. You got a guy, Chang-Mo Koo, who was electric in 2020, missed 2021 entirely, missed the first part of this season, and now he's getting priced as if he's still the guy from 2020, which he could be, but all we've seen him do so far is pitch against a Lotte team that had half of their starting lineup out and go once, maybe 2 times through the order against Doosan, who's been a very streaky team this year. When they hit, they hit. When they don't, they really don't. So I see this on the road here for Koo as a pretty big challenge because Samsung, while they have, their lineup, it has holes in it. the guys that are good in this Samsung lineup are really good. Like Jose Perella, I think I've said on a number of occasions, I have him rated. I think he's the best hitter in this league on any team, import, domestic. That he's hitting 389. He's the best hitter in this league.
390.
390. There you go. So I have to. I just, for me,
Crazy.
Perella's the best hitter in this league. They've got Jay Illo. They have, a number of guys at the top of that order that are going to be a tougher battle for Changmo than he's had to face since he's come back. It's going to be up to Dong Jae Hwang to keep Samsung in the game here. But I do think he can. I think Seung-Hwan Oh rested in yesterday's game, so they'll have him back available for tonight, out of the bullpen. So again, Samsung is still probably the better of these two teams if we're talking top to bottom, even though I do think NC could start to battle their way back into the conversation. But we're getting the free run and a half, and it's a spot where I'm willing to take a shot if I'm going to get a run ahead start with Samsung on their home field. So Samsung plus 1.5. I think it's great value in a game that they very well could win, and if they don't, it could very well be a close one-run game.
If I can throw in a quick note on Adam's best bet there. Samsung's pitcher Hwang, he's no. Samsung's pitcher Hwang, he's not very good, but if you notice this year, his only good starts was against NC. So might be a decent chance to go with Samsung as well.
Yeah, and I wanna throw in one thing that this should have been I keep getting buzzed. Hey, we got time today. We've been cruising along.
Yeah.
I want to throw one thing in that was arguably the most important point I wanted to make about wanting to fade NC here. They just played their best series of the season. They went and played SSG. They won 2 of them. One of them ended in a tie, and that's the number 1 team in this league right now. Well, for the time being, they're still in first place. So NC just played their best series of the year. Big letdown spot, having to go on the road after that. So that's another reason I really like Samsung in this game.
So there you go. And let's be real. Would we rather have him dropping a little knowledge here at the end or have more karaoke time for Brandon? I'll take the back and forth more than another Salt to Swing reference. God, I thought we could get out of it. Yeah, get her over, Brandon, and let's get these folks the hell out of here. Great job again, guys. Just to recap, we got LG Twins laying the 1.5. We have Samsung getting the 1.5. That's the best bets for today. Check these guys out at WagerTalk.com. Both of them have a 5% big ticket play loaded. Adam Trigger has a 4%er in KBO going in the morning. That does it for us. We will be back on Monday. If you like the show, make sure you like and subscribe. Throw a little comment below. Let us know if you agree, you disagree. And until next show on Monday, for Tokyo Brandon, for Adam Trigger, and for Joe Ranieri behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll see you Monday on Asian Baseball Today.
Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99, but using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football